Good evening, dear citizens, dear representatives of the mass media, observers, colleagues. Today, the Republic of Moldova has its feeling of common responsibility during the entire day of the elections. The parliamentary elections represent a very important moment of defining our democracy. In the end of our day, it is a very good occasion to thank all the voters, the citizens of the Republic of Moldova, who, no matter what their age or gender, ethnicity or status or country in which they are, have decided to vote to express their will. Every ballot paper with their option expressed is more than a right exercised. It's a proof of the responsible engagement and civic activism. At the same time, I would like to address my gratitude to my colleagues from the CEC, as well as those over 24,000 electoral officers that did work from the very first hours of the morning up until now, because the election process is still on under the conditions of maximum legality, correctness and transparency. The professionalism and dedication of these people ensures the fair elections, fair exercising of this democratic exercise. At the same time, in the voting, in the polling stations in the country, the calculation started. It's a very important stage, which is very accurate in strict compliance with the provisions of the Electoral Code. The minutes that are going to be concluded by the precinct offices will be afterwards sent and processed via the informational or the automated information system elections, a safe platform based on which the data becomes available to the public shortly after the closure of the polling stations. This mechanism guarantees a very quick and transparent exercise. The centralized data shows that at the polling stations up until now, there came to vote 1,596,530 voters, which represents about 52% of the voters in the lists. According to the election code, the parliamentary elections can be declared valid if at least 1/3 of the total number of voters in the lists have participated in the elections. Under these conditions, the CEC is confirming the validity of these elections. At 9 p.m., all the polling stations in the country closed their doors without having any interruptions of the flow of voters or any other inconveniences related to the election process. We still have opened the polling stations in Western Europe and on the American continent. After the closure of all the polling stations in these countries, the precinct offices will start the procedure of counting the ballot papers, including those received in envelopes. We would like to thank all those who contributed to the good conduct of these elections, to our colleagues from the Central Public Administration and Local Public Administration, our institutional partners, the civil society, mass media, and every voter in part. Further on, we would like to call on all those involved in the election process, in particular the competitors, to wait for the closure of the voting exercise of the counting one and to wait up until the final and official results are announced. If there are suspicions with regard to potential irregularities, we recommend them to use the legal mechanism of finding this. The precinct offices have at their disposal 48 hours from the closure of the polling stations to send their minutes with regard to the results for their region. Afterwards, the CEC will announce the final results of the elections. We would like to emphasize that the information presented this evening are preliminary before getting the documentation in original form at the CEC. Tomorrow, on September 29 at 10 a.m., CEC will organize a briefing to present the preliminary results of the parliamentary elections of September 28 current year. And a message for the voters. CEC assures you that every vote will be counted very carefully and with responsibility like you expressed it. No ballot paper will be ignored. The preliminary results that we are going to present this evening and the final ones that we are going to come in the following days will reflect exactly the will of the people. And now I would like to invite you to follow the first final results at the parliamentary elections. We would like to reiterate that these are just the preliminary results and these are registered in the system depending on how quick the counting procedure takes place in different polling stations. Our colleagues are currently adjusting the transfer from the system that is displaying the presence at the elections with the one on with preliminary results. If there are questions, we are here, all of us are ready to provide you answers up until our colleagues display the results, the first results. Tell us, please, if there Adela Shevchuk from Media Sense project, please tell us if there were incidents registered during the day and what were these incidents. As announced during the previous briefings organized during the day, there have been the EC was informed about more complaints with regard to the irregularities detected in some of the polling stations, and we have mentioned about photographs of the ballot papers, campaigning which is not admitted on the election date, destroyal of the ballot papers, as well as organized transportation of voters and attempts to corrupt the voters. At the same time, there have been also cases when voters polling station and they did not find their name on the voters list. What's important to say is that all the voters had the possibility to vote, either where they have their domicile on this or on the supplementary list if they managed to confirm domicile at a polling station, and due to different reasons this were not in the voters lists, so they voted based on the supplementary list. So now we have to examine those that came to understand what are the reasons why some voters did not find their name in the main lists.
Госпожа председатель, я прошу прощения, можно вопрос? Марко Березин, Первый канал, телевидение.
I am from the Polish newspaper. Can you tell us what? It was a difficult campaign. How would you appreciate the results of this work? I understand that tomorrow we will hear the opinions of the mass media, of the journalists. So obviously, while we were organizing these elections in the last year and the constitutional referendum and the elections this year, obviously we faced different challenges because we felt what it means foreign interference, both with what regards the financing of certain competitors as well as cyber attacks, and those messages that flooded the online space, messages that are calling on hate, manipulating messages, or false one or fake one. Even our institution was involved in deepfakes, so this was the biggest challenge. But what is worth mentioning is that both the CEC as well as our colleagues in the field did fulfill their obligations as the law foresees. Professionalism, correctness, and we ensured those procedures, either logistical one or organizational one or training one or communication one, in time and as planned. So now we have on the screen the results, the first results, preliminary results, and we have there indicated the total number of polling stations. So overall we have had, there have been opened 2,274 polling stations, and the results, preliminary results reflects the result of from 132 or 34 already polling stations, which means that we have the figure 17,582 votes have been already counted. We have the data and the symbol of each candidate and the number of the total valid ballot papers or votes expressed and the exact number of this choice for the people. If there are no other questions, just to mention that these results, you can find them on the website of the CEC, where we have preliminary results. This can be consulted for the country by second level districts and by the polling stations outside the country, and also you can see them by each component. There is another modality. We can see how it is called, the website. We keep there both information on the presence at the elections as well as the preliminary results. Thank you very much for your attention.